This is a presentation that I'll be doing on Thursday, so I wanted to do take two after having done take one and got some feedback last week. I decided to go throw out my slides and try and make them a little bit better and do this again. I want to talk about enterprise architecture, one of those topics I've gone through. I went back to a master's program and actually took a few classes and got a certificate that says maybe hopefully I've learned something, and this actually came out of one of the things that we did for my class. So this is a little bit of my story of my journey into EA and some of the things I've learned along the way. Enterprise architecture is a very fascinating thing, and if anybody knows anything about it, it's a very complex thing. But what is it? That's the first question. And why do you care? And why does your business care? Enterprise architecture at its core is about aligning the execution of your business with the strategy. How do I take this wonderful strategy that our executive team has come up with and turn it into something useful and applicable and make it work? It came out of IT, and it's growing and expanding beyond the IT prison. And it's all about keeping us going in the right direction, and why keeping us on plan. So what's the problem? It's complicated. And people do a lot with EA, and a lot of times it gets very complex, and the various frameworks have tons and tons of papers that you can write. One of the first exposures that I had was looking at some of the case studies, and we would have this document and that document, and there were about 47 different documents that we had to read, all talking about how do we apply this EA, and that was just getting started. Enterprise architects seem to like documents, and they seem to like very complex documents that wind up looking like this. I'm sure every one of us, at least those of us who work in the software world, have probably seen this kind of a diagram before that's way too complex and doesn't mean anything but something maybe to the person who drew it, and maybe not even then, because it's so complicated. And it comes out a year after the project's due. And what does that result in? It costs a whole lot. EAs get paid fairly well, so you have a lot of cost, and maybe not always a lot of value. What's an enterprise architect to do? The software world's begun to move to concepts of applying something called Agile and Lean. We, as enterprise architects, need to adopt some of these same principles. Agile likes to favor people over process. Working software over a bunch of documents. Collaborating, working with the stakeholders instead of writing down contracts and saying, oh, I promise, we'll do this. And responding to changes as they're needed, as opposed to following a plan. Business changes, the market changes. Every time that market shifts, we need to shift too. We also need to look into lean. Lean came out of the manufacturing world. Toyota is one of the famous users of this, the Toyota method. It's all about eliminating waste, building in quality, have fun reading the list. It's a great list, but these are the core concepts of lean. And it's all about get rid of waste and do it faster. What we want to do as an enterprise architect is to get rid of the waste by streamlining our architecture processes. Let's think about each and every one of those documents that we're creating and decide, is this document worth it? Is this a step that we really need? Does it contribute? Let's also maybe adopt that agile mindset of short little sprints where we keep going in cycles and working over and over with our stakeholders and helping them to get what they want sooner. Finally, let's try, while we're iterating, let's maybe apply the Kanban concepts, which is just a way of managing the process. We're maybe not going to do a formal scrum, but we can create this work, this value stream of steps that we can control our processes through. EA's future has changed. There's a quote from Yogi Berra that one of my EA heroes used. The future ain't what it used to be. And we, as enterprise architects, need to move at the speed of business, not at the speed of EA. Thank you.